Many of us prayed the Stations of the Cross. Many of us prayed the Gorske Žale. And in reflecting on the Stations and the Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, sometimes we could identify with at least part of the Stations. We all have suffered. We all have pain in our hearts. Many of us, because of our Polish heritage, sometimes were ridiculed, sometimes the subject of Polish jokes, sometimes feeling alone, especially our families who came from Poland to start a new life. Because in Poland, they were not respected. In Poland, our culture was not held up. And so our ancestors came here to build a church, to build a school, so that their children could have a better chance. But it was difficult, and we walked the journey of the Passion of Jesus Christ. Today, many of us, our hearts broken. There are all kinds of feelings in this church today. Feelings of anxiety, pain, anger, frustration. But all of those come from the heart. And that heart is a heart of love. And that's what we are here today to recall and to remember. But many of us might be stuck at the cross. Because 105 years of service, 105 years of worshiping God in this beautiful place is no more. And we wonder what is going to happen. But we know, as people of faith, we have hope. We believe in the resurrection. Look at the beautiful resurrection here in the back window to remind us that there is some hope, that there is light, that we move beyond the grave. We move beyond our pain and sorrow because we believe in the resurrection. But still, our faith tells us that. Our intellect tells us that. But our hearts are still heavy. So we continue the journey, probably like a lot of the followers of Jesus, leaving after Jesus died and heard that he resurrected, but they said, now how are we going to pull all of the pieces together? We invested 3 years of our life, we were with Jesus. What's going to happen to us? Many of our grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads and all present here invested in this church for so many years. And we wonder, was it in vain? Where do we go from here? And so we're like the disciples of Jesus in Emmaus, walking away. But what did they do? And when they met Jesus on the road to Emmaus, they start telling the story. They started remembering. And finally, they recognized Jesus in their midst. And so here, my brothers and sisters, today, we are here to recall the memory. We are here to celebrate 105 years of faithful service. We look at our beautiful window of the Annunciation, when Gabriel came to Mary and said, "You're going to do great things. You're going to bear Jesus to the world." Mary was confused, but she was a faithful woman. And what did she say? "Be it done unto me according to your word." Just as our ancestors said, how are we going to build this church? We have no money. How can we do this? But because they were a people of faith, from 39 families, St. John Cantius was born. Well, we know that the story that we heard was that if it was a loaf of bread or a brick, because people were so faith-filled, many of your relatives sacrificed bread on the table so that they could build this church. And because they were faithful people, everything was accomplished. And then we can look at this next beautiful window here, the visitation. And Mary was so excited to see Elizabeth, and we opened our celebration today with the Magnificat. My soul proclaims the goodness of the Lord. He has looked upon his lowly servant. People will be pleased for generations. My brothers and sisters, as we reflect on the 105 years of faithful service in this church, many lives were touched because people said yes to the Lord. Many vocations came from this church. 12 priests, 1 deacon, 30 religious women, many faithful husbands and wives, moms and dads, factory workers, doctors, lawyers, all came because we were a faithful people. And those that went before us and those that are here today said yes to the Lord. St. John Cantius gave birth to a new parish in 1924. Gave birth to a parish of Saints Andrew and Benedict when our Slovak brothers and sisters needed a place to worship God. And what was interesting is that Bishop Gallagher called Father Zareba from St. Cyril Methodius at the last week of March, and the first week of April, the first Mass for the Slavic people was celebrated right in this church. I never thought I would say, I'm looking back to the good old days, but the process we have today takes months. It took them 1 week to establish a new church. But that was because of the faith of a good people. And so we move forward, and many of us may not know where we are going or what we are going to do. But we are confident that you will bring the faith and dedication to wherever you will go. And what is really beautiful is the picture where the presentation